Well, guys, today I'm going to talk to you about E3. I'm going to talk about all three conferences, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. I'm not going to talk about the secondary ones, but those three main conferences and the 10 games that I feel showed best for me and what I want to look forward to. First, I'll talk about Microsoft, then I'll talk about Sony, and end with Nintendo. Hopefully you guys like what my reviews are, and if you have differing opinions, feel free to share them. If you agree with me, tell me which one of these 10 games you're looking forward to the most. The games that stood out to me at the Microsoft E3 conference was Forza Horizon 2, Sunset Overdrive, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Inside, and Ori and the Blind Forest. I think Ori and the Blind Forest is going to be a real surprise game that sells real well and a lot of people love. There's just something about that game that's going to draw me to it, and I think it'll be one of the best indie games in the next year or so. And also something about the Microsoft conference that I really liked. Phil Spencer said this conference is just going to be about games. Games, 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 games. And he stayed true to his word, an hour and a half purely for games. They barely talked about anything else, and I think that's actually a good thing. Because everybody freaks out if you talk about TV and sports at E3. I like watching TV and I like sports. I wouldn't have a problem with that. But them developing this all for games shows how many games Xbox has to offer. The Sony conference definitely had a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things I really liked, a lot of things I was really surprised by, and a lot of things that kind of made it feel like it was just going on forever. And I'm going to tell you what those things were. The three games that I saw at the Sony conference that I really would like to play is the next-gen GTA 5 that they announced. That's one of the most games that I'm hyped for out of anything, because I didn't really get a chance to play it much on last gen because I ended up giving my console to a friend. But I got Xbox One, so I'm really excited about that. And the other two is No Man's Sky and Little Big Planet. One thing that I will say, even though I play all three consoles, I do think it's a little funny that we got so much crap at Microsoft for talking about TV so much. But guess what PlayStation did this year? They talked about exclusive TV shows and TV at PlayStation TV. So I guess you guys can't be hassling Microsoft anymore about TV because they've both done it now. Finally, my thoughts on the Nintendo conference. It started off really funny and really strong, having Robot Chicken doing stuff for them, doing humor, doing comedy, even sort of dark comedy. I got a kick out of it. And also seeing two bigwigs from Nintendo fighting each other in a Super Smash Bros. Style. You can't miss out on that. But even after all that, there are a few games that I thought looked very impressive. Yoshi's Woolly World and The Legend of Zelda, the open world Legend of Zelda. It looks so good, it's huge. Everybody's joking around Elder Scrolls of Zelda because it's so big. I honestly think that game is going to be a hit for Wii U and bring up the sales. And also Yoshi's Woolly World, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch some trailers for it. It looks really creative and really cool. So I think all the conferences I saw today were pretty cool, and there's a bunch of games you can pick from each one that look very interesting. That's what I love about E3. Well, guys, in ending my top 10 in order is Grand Theft Auto 5 Next Gen, Forza Horizon 2, Halo the Master Chief Collection, Ori and the Blind Forest, Inside, Sunset Overdrive, Yoshi's Woolly World, Little Big Planet 3, The Legend of Zelda U, and No Man's Sky. If you agree with this, feel free to like on YouTube or message me on Xbox. And also, if you guys disagree with this top 10, comment on YouTube and show your top 10 on what you think is the best games in your opinion. I'm glad to hear them, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the E3.